Okay, so get this, listeners. You guys sent us a ton of research, a whole stack of it, on fitness and longevity.
Yeah.
You want the deep dive breakdown, and you know what? Turns out, stepping on that scale might not be telling the whole story.
Oh, interesting.
It might be time to go beyond just the number and really dive into what fuels a long, healthy life.
Right.
What do you think?
You know, it's funny because it's like we're obsessed with weight loss, right?
Right.
But we often forget about this, like, crucial piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. Tell me more.
It's called cardiorespiratory fitness.
Cardiorespiratory.
Or CRF.
CRF. Okay.
For short.
So what is that?
So think of CRF as like a measure of how well your heart and your lungs are working together to deliver oxygen to your muscles when you're, being active.
Yeah.
So like the higher your CRF, the more your body can handle physical stress.
Okay.
And that's really where it gets interesting because this is a really strong indicator of, how well and how long you live.
Gotcha. So it's not just about running a marathon. It's about your body's ability to kind of bounce back from the challenge.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this CRF thing, I mean, does it connect to like lowering the risk of all those chronic diseases we always hear about?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Things like, high blood pressure or hypertension, coronary artery disease, even stroke.
Wow.
And it's not just about like, avoiding these conditions, but it's about improving your overall metabolic function as well.
So hold on, metabolic function, break that down for me.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
So think about metabolic function as like how well your body processes and uses energy.
Okay.
Right? It involves things like blood sugar regulation and cholesterol levels.
Gotcha.
A really good CRF means that your body is just better at keeping all of that in check.
Gotcha. Okay, so one of the studies that you gave us to kind of look over was this huge meta-analysis.
Yeah.
Published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And it had some like really surprising findings about fitness and how long we live.
Yeah, this is a really interesting study.
Yeah.
I mean, it followed almost 400,000 people.
Wow.
For years.
Okay.
And the results were, pretty groundbreaking.
Okay.
It found that people who were considered obese but had high fitness levels
Okay.
actually had a very similar risk of dying early
Okay.
as fit people with what we would call a normal weight.
So wait, are you telling me that somebody could be obese, but if they're fit, their health could be better than somebody that's thin but not in shape?
That's exactly what the research suggests.
Yeah.
And here's like the real shocker.
Okay.
Fit people who were obese often lived longer than unfit people who were not obese.
Okay.
So it really does, it begs the question, how are we thinking about weight and health?
That's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, we all hear about BMI all the time, but it sounds like it doesn't tell the whole story. Like, what are we missing with that? What's the problem with BMI?
So you're right. BMI, or body mass index,
Right.
is just, a simple calculation based on your weight and height.
Right.
But it's pretty limited. The problem is that it doesn't take into account muscle mass versus fat mass.
Right.
So someone that's very muscular,
Yeah.
like let's say, a big athlete,
Yeah.
could end up being classified as overweight
Right.
based on their BMI alone, even though they have very little body fat.
So two people could have the same BMI, but one could be a couch potato and one could be, a weightlifter.
Exactly.
And their health risks could be completely different.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Wow.
And then, on the other hand, you could have someone with a completely normal BMI
Right.
who is carrying around a dangerous amount of visceral fat,
Visceral fat. Okay.
which is the fat that's stored around your organs.
Gotcha.
And that's the fat that's linked to like a higher risk of disease.
Okay.
What this study really suggests is that CRF might give us a more accurate picture of somebody's health risks than BMI alone.
Interesting. Okay, so how does fitness kind of offer this protection? I mean, does exercise somehow magically erase the risks of carrying that extra weight?
Well, it's not magic, but
Okay.
it does have, it has some pretty impressive effects.
Yeah.
So, when you're physically active on a regular basis, it actually strengthens your heart muscle.
Okay.
It allows it to pump blood more efficiently.
Okay.
It improves your circulation. It even reduces something called arterial stiffness.
Okay, wait, back up. Arterial stiffness. What is that?
So think of it this way. Your arteries are like hoses.
Okay.
So if those hoses get stiff, it becomes harder for blood to flow through them.
Right.
And that puts more strain on your heart.
Gotcha.
But exercise helps keep your arteries nice and flexible and elastic, allowing for better blood flow.
Okay, so fitter arteries means a healthier heart.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, now what about the lungs?
Oh, yeah. Lungs are really important, too.
So working out, does it actually affect those as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It improves your lung capacity,
Okay.
which basically means that you can take in more oxygen
Gotcha.
with each breath, which helps you, go longer during those physical activities.
Yeah.
But it also just allows your body to function, at a just better, more efficiently overall.
And we can't forget about, the mental and emotional benefits of exercise.
Right, those are huge.
I mean, after a good workout, I feel like I can conquer the world.
Yeah, and that's not just in your head.
Okay.
Exercise actually triggers the release of endorphins, which have a mood-boosting effect. They can really combat feelings of anxiety and depression.
Okay.
And there's growing evidence that there's a real link between, your mental well-being and how long you live.
Wow, so it's like a win-win.
Totally, yeah.
You're getting fitter,
You feel better.
you feel better, and you're increasing your chance of living a longer life.
Exactly.
But what about people who haven't been very active? I mean, where do they even start?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, the good news is you don't need to become a marathon runner overnight.
Right.
Right. Even moderate intensity activities can make a huge difference. So, to begin with, just aim for at least 150 minutes of, brisk walking each week.
That's totally doable. I mean, that's like, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could also try, cycling,
Yeah.
swimming, even rowing.
Yeah.
The important thing is to find activities that you enjoy, and that you can stick with consistently.
So consistency is key. Okay, that makes sense. But what about pushing things further? I've been hearing a lot about these HIIT workouts lately. What are those all about?
Yeah, so HIET stands for High Intensity Interval Training. It's a really effective way to boost your CRF.
Okay.
And what it involves is basically, short bursts of really intense activity, alternating with brief recovery periods.
So like sprinting all out for 30 seconds and then walking for a minute and kind of repeating that cycle.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
It's a great way to really challenge your cardiovascular system.
Yeah.
And see, fast improvements in your fitness.
So it sounds intense, but it also sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, a lot of people really like it.
Are there any warnings before we all jump into HIIT?
Yeah, I mean, of course. It's important to adjust that intensity, right, to your current fitness level. And also, consult with your doctor
Right.
before you start any kind of, especially a new exercise regimen,
Sure.
especially if you have any, underlying health conditions.
Of course.
Safety always comes first.
Safety first. Right.
But remember, getting that CRF up isn't just about, tacking years onto your life.
Right.
It's about adding life to your years.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah.
It's funny. We've been talking about all the good stuff about exercise, but I've always wondered, are there any downsides? I mean, to intense exercise.
Yeah. Is there a point where you could overdo it?
Oh, yeah. Definitely something to be aware of.
Okay.
While exercise is, for the most part, incredibly beneficial, like anything else,
Yeah.
you could definitely go overboard.
Right.
Overtraining can lead to injuries, fatigue,
Okay.
and even hormonal imbalances.
So how do you know if you're pushing too hard? What are some red flags people should look out for?
It's all about really listening to your body. If you're constantly sore, exhausted, or you just have this persistent pain,
Yeah.
those are all signs that you might need to back off a little.
Okay.
Also, pay attention to your sleep and mood. If you're having trouble sleeping or you're feeling irritable, anxious,
Yeah.
could be a sign of overtraining.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot.
Yes.
Challenging yourself, but also, respecting your body's limits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about balance.
So this whole idea of CRF being a better indicator of health than just BMI,
Right.
it's making me rethink everything I thought I knew about weight and health. But isn't weight loss still important for overall health?
You're hitting on a really important point. And
Yeah.
this research isn't saying that weight is irrelevant.
Okay.
What it's suggesting is that we need to kind of broaden our understanding of health
Okay.
beyond just the number on the scale.
So it's more nuanced than just saying lose weight to be healthy.
Yes, exactly. It's about looking at the bigger picture and understanding that there are multiple pathways to health.
Okay.
Someone could be carrying extra weight,
Right.
but still have excellent cardiovascular health
Okay.
and a low risk of disease
Gotcha.
because of their fitness level.
Right.
On the other hand, you could have someone with a quote-unquote normal BMI, but they're metabolically unhealthy and at higher risk because of a sedentary lifestyle.
So it's really about focusing on those lifestyle factors that we can control, right?
Yes.
Like diet, exercise, stress management, and sleep.
Yes, exactly.
Those things are going to have a much bigger impact on our health than just our weight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that shift in perspective can be incredibly empowering. It allows people to focus on making positive changes
Yeah.
that improve their health and well-being rather than just getting caught up in restrictive diets or unrealistic weight loss goals.
It's about building a sustainable, healthy lifestyle that you can maintain for the long haul.
Right.
Wouldn't you say that it's much more motivating to focus on what your body can do rather than how it looks?
100%. That's where the real joy and movement comes in. When you start to appreciate what your body's capable of,
Right.
it changes your whole relationship with exercise.
Yeah.
It becomes less about punishment
Right.
and more about celebration.
I love that. Yeah.
It's about finding activities you genuinely enjoy and look forward to.
Right.
Whether it's dancing, hiking, swimming, playing a sport.
And those activities don't have to be strenuous
Okay.
to be beneficial.
Yeah.
Even like gentle movement, like yoga or Tai Chi,
Yeah.
can improve your flexibility, your balance, and reduce stress, which all contribute to your well-being.
Speaking of stress, I think it's easy to underestimate the impact that stress has on our health.
Oh, for sure.
We've talked about all the physical and emotional benefits of exercise, but how does exercise help us manage stress? I know for me, when I'm feeling stressed, like a good workout always helps me clear my head.
That's really common, yeah.
Yeah.
Exercise has a remarkable ability to actually regulate our stress response system.
Okay.
So when we're stressed, our bodies release a cascade of hormones like
Wow.
cortisol, adrenaline,
Okay.
and regular physical activity can actually help buffer the effects of those hormones,
Okay.
making us more resilient to stress. So working out kind of helps us handle those stressful situations better. Like we're building up a resilience to stress through exercise.
Exactly. Yeah, and exercise also increases the production of endorphins,
Right.
which act as natural mood boosters and pain relievers. So, they have a calming effect on the brain,
Okay.
which can help reduce feelings of anxiety and tension.
So it's like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
We're reducing the negative impact of the stress hormones
Right.
while also boosting those feel-good chemicals in the brain.
Exactly.
Then beyond the physiological benefits, exercise can also provide like a mental escape from stress, right?
Oh, absolutely.
When you're focused on physical activity, it's harder to dwell on your worries and anxieties.
Yeah,
It's almost like a form of mindfulness,
it is. Yeah,
helping you stay present in the moment.
exactly.
It's like hitting the reset button on your mind. I know for me, even just like a short walk outside can completely shift my perspective when I'm feeling overwhelmed.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be complicated.
Right.
Just moving your body and getting some fresh air can do wonders for your stress levels.
Okay, let's talk about sleep.
Sure.
We all know how important a good night's sleep is for our health.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious, how does exercise factor into the equation? Does working out actually help you sleep better?
Oh, there's definitely a connection there.
Okay.
Regular physical activity can definitely improve your sleep quality.
Okay.
It helps regulate your circadian rhythm,
Okay.
which is your body's natural sleep-wake cycle.
Oh, right.
So when you're physically active during the day, it helps solidify those natural sleep patterns,
Okay.
making it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep at night.
So working out helps you sync up with your body's natural sleep clock.
Precisely, yeah. And exercise can also help reduce anxiety and stress,
Right.
which we know are often major contributors to insomnia.
Right.
So when you're less stressed and your mind is calmer,
Yeah.
it's easier to just drift off to sleep.
But isn't there also that saying about not exercising too close to bedtime
Yes.
because it can keep you awake? Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
While exercise generally improves sleep, for some people, exercising too close to bedtime can actually have the opposite effect.
Okay.
It can raise your body temperature and make it harder to fall asleep right away.
So how long before bed should you stop exercising? Is there like a rule of thumb?
It really depends on the person,
Okay.
but generally speaking, it's best to finish your workout at least 2 to 3 hours
Okay.
before you plan on going to bed.
Gotcha.
That gives your body enough time to cool down and for those stimulating hormones to kind of dissipate.
Okay, so we're finding that balance again, right?
Yeah.
Exercising regularly for better sleep,
Right.
but not right before bed.
Exactly.
Okay, so consistency is key when it comes to exercise, right?
Yeah.
But let's face it, life gets busy.
Mhm.
And it can be hard to stick to a workout routine.
Yeah.
What are some practical tips for staying motivated, making exercise a habit?
That's a challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah.
One of the best strategies is to find activities that you genuinely enjoy.
Okay.
If you love what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
you're much more likely to stick with it.
That makes sense.
Also, don't feel like you have to do it all at once.
Okay.
Even short bursts of activity throughout the day can really add up.
So instead of feeling like you need to hit the gym for an hour,
Right.
you could just take a brisk walk during your lunch break.
Exactly.
Mm.
Or do some quick exercises at home.
Yeah, every little bit counts.
Every little bit counts.
And it can be helpful to schedule those workouts into your day,
Yeah.
just like you would any other important appointment.
Absolutely. Treat it like a non-negotiable.
Right, non-negotiable.
Start your schedule.
I like that.
Yeah.
What about finding a workout buddy? I know for me, having someone to exercise with really helps me stay accountable. It makes it a lot more fun.
Accountability can be a huge motivator.
Yeah.
So finding a friend, family member, or even joining a fitness group can provide that support and encouragement.
Right.
And yeah, it's true. Working out with others can definitely make it more enjoyable.
Right.
It's something you look forward to.
It's like turning your workout into a social event.
Yeah, exactly.
And celebrating those small victories along the way can be a big help too, right?
For sure.
Like acknowledging how much stronger you're getting.
Absolutely.
Or how much further you can run.
Recognizing your progress, no matter how small,
Yeah.
can really boost your motivation. Keep you on track.
Don't be afraid to mix things up too, right?
Yeah.
If you're getting bored with your routine, try something new.
Exactly. Variety is the spice of life and of exercise too.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
What about those days when you're just not feeling it? Everyone has those days where motivation is low.
We all do.
Any tips for pushing through those mental roadblocks?
Sometimes the hardest part is just getting started.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just tell yourself you'll just do 5 minutes.
Okay.
And often once you start moving, you'll find that motivation to keep going.
Yeah, just starting is often the biggest hurdle.
It really is, yeah.
And sometimes giving yourself permission to have a rest day can be just as important as pushing through.
Absolutely. Rest and recovery are essential
Okay.
for allowing your body to repair and rebuild.
Yeah.
So listen to your body and don't be afraid to take a break when you need it.
So finding that balance once again,
It all comes back to balance.
pushing yourself, but also being kind to yourself.
Exactly.
This has been such a fascinating conversation.
Yes, this has been great.
We've covered so much ground, from the science of CRF to the mental and emotional benefits of exercise and practical tips for making fitness a part of your life.
It's been a pleasure diving into this topic with you.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface. What are some other areas of research that are emerging in the field of fitness and longevity? What should we be keeping our eyes on in the future?
Ooh, there's so much exciting research happening right now.
Okay.
One area that's particularly fascinating is the study of the microbiome
Okay.
and how that impacts our health and lifespan.
The microbiome, remind me, what is that again?
So the microbiome refers to the trillions of bacteria and other microorganisms
Okay.
that live in and on our bodies.
Gotcha.
And what we're learning is that these microbes play a much bigger role in our health
Okay.
than we ever realized.
Interesting.
They influence everything from our digestion and immunity to our mental health,
Wow.
and even our risk of chronic diseases.
So these tiny organisms are actually influencing how long we live.
That's what the research is suggesting, yeah.
Wow.
And what's interesting is that exercise seems to have a positive impact
Okay.
on the diversity and health of our gut microbiome.
So another reason to get moving.
Exactly. And there's a lot of interest in how specific types of exercise
Okay.
might influence the microbiome in different ways. For example, some studies are looking at how high-intensity interval training, that HIIT we talked about,
Right.
might have different effects on the gut microbiome
Okay.
compared to, say, moderate intensity continuous training.
So not only is the type of exercise important,
Yeah,
but the intensity might matter too.
it seems that way, yeah.
Wow.
And this research is still in its early stages,
Right.
but it has the potential to, like, completely revolutionize
Yeah.
how we approach exercise and how we personalize fitness recommendations
Interesting.
based on an individual's microbiome.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just about how exercise affects our muscles and organs,
Right.
but also how it influences this complex ecosystem of microbes within us.
Exactly. And that's just one area of research.
Wow.
There's also a lot of interest in the role of genetics in determining how we respond to exercise
Okay.
and how that might impact longevity.
So personalized fitness plans based on your unique genetic makeup.
It's certainly a possibility down the road, yeah.
Mm.
And with advancements in technology,
Mm.
like wearable fitness trackers and artificial intelligence,
Right.
we're going to have access to more data than ever before,
Yeah.
which will allow us to really tailor exercise programs in a way that's never been possible.
This is all so incredibly fascinating. I can't wait to see what the future holds for the world of fitness and longevity.
Yeah, me too.
It's clear that we've moved beyond the simple equation of calories in, calories out, and that there's so much more to discover about how movement impacts our health and well-being.
I completely agree. It's a truly exciting time to be studying this field.
Well, I think we've given our listener plenty to think about today.
I think so too.
It's time to ditch the scale obsession and embrace a more holistic view of health, one that celebrates movement, strength, resilience, and the joy of living an active life. So it really is about moving away from that one-size-fits-all and understanding that, we're all different.
Yeah. What works for one person might not work for someone else.
Absolutely. So it's more about, I guess, finding what feels right for your body and what you can stick with.
Exactly. Tuning into your body's signals.
Yeah. Honoring your body's needs.
Hmm.
This whole conversation has been so eye-opening.
It really has.
I feel like I've completely shifted my perspective on fitness and, how it affects how long we live.
Yeah, it's been great chatting about this.
But I know our listeners are probably feeling pretty inspired to get moving, but for someone who's been inactive for a while, where do they even start?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it can be pretty intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say start small
Okay.
and really focus on finding something you genuinely enjoy. It doesn't have to be like a crazy workout.
Right.
Start with, I don't know, even just like a 15-minute walk
Okay.
a few times a week.
Uh-huh.
And then gradually increase, the duration and the intensity over time.
Okay, and I imagine there are tons of resources out there for people who, maybe need a little extra guidance or support.
Oh, absolutely. There's, personal trainers,
Right.
group fitness classes, online programs, even, friends or family
Right.
who can just offer support and encouragement.
Right.
And don't forget about community,
Yeah.
like joining a walking group, a hiking club, dance class, anything that can make exercise more social and fun.
Yeah, I love that. It's all about finding what works for you
Exactly.
and making it a part of your life.
And don't forget to celebrate all those, milestones along the way.
Yeah.
Every step you take towards, a healthier you is a victory worth celebrating.
I love that. It's not about perfection. It's about progress.
Exactly. Yeah.
And sometimes the smallest steps lead to the biggest changes.
They really can. It's all about, the journey
Right.
and focusing on those positive changes that you're making.
Yeah.
No matter how small.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
Yeah, definitely.
It's clear that, fitness isn't just about fitting into a certain size. It's about so much more.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's about building a body that can support a long and vibrant life. It's about, managing your stress, boosting your mood.
Yeah.
It's about sleeping better and even improving how your brain works.
Absolutely.
It's about feeling strong and capable and really alive.
Yeah.
It's an investment in your health and really, in your future. So for all of you listening, ditch that scale obsession,
Yeah. Forget about the scale.
and focus on what truly matters. Building a strong heart, healthy lungs, and a really resilient spirit.
And remember, the best time to start was yesterday,
Uh-huh.
but the second best time is right now.
So what's one activity that you enjoy that can boost your CRF?
Yeah, think about that.
What's one small step you can take today to make it happen? Keep diving deep, friends, and keep moving towards a healthier and happier you.